Today, we're not having music playing in the background, so that's good. This is ChillPoint. Wait, I hear mic 5. I hear somebody said mic 5. Well, yeah, are you not hearing me?
No, I think they started to talk when the intro started to happen.
Yeah, because I didn't look up to see if the intro was running or not, which is what I should have done before I started talking to Heather.
Hey, fun. Everybody. Yeah. Welcome to ChillPoint.
If you want to talk to me, you got to talk to them to get to me.
It's true.
You can't talk directly to me.
I'll go through chat.
You got to talk to chat, and chat will tell me what you said.
This is fun. It's divorce game all over again.
We haven't played the divorce game in years.
Let's
not do it now.
No,
especially not today. You will lose. My anger knows no bounds today.
Great.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to ChillPoint, the show where we talk about all the video game news. Well, not all the video game news, let's be honest. The video game news that we decide to talk about. And welcome to, we're trying this again in Studio B. It worked reasonably well last time, so we'll do it again now. Hopefully that will continue to work okay.
Until we get bored of it, or it doesn't work, or who knows.
Let us know in the comments if you like it in here better than in Studio A, which is the regular streaming studio.
Yeah, especially if you're on YouTube, because I'll read those.
I like it. I'm evenly lit.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're not like in the back.
Yeah, having to like move myself forward a bit and be like, oh wait, no, I'm in shadow a bit. Okay, and I move my back. So okay, but now I'm a little too far away. So let's come forward again.
Yeah. All right, let's get down to talking about the video game news. In no particular order, just because this was the first thing that this was the top of my document, because I think it's roughly chronological order. Reverse chronological, I don't know. Anyway, there's a new thing from Microsoft that for Minecraft.
Yeah.
So about a year ago, Microsoft made the decision to transfer all Mojang accounts, which is what you previously used to log into Minecraft, to Microsoft accounts.
Which, if you already then had a Microsoft account, was probably really awkward.
Yeah. There was definitely some issues with the coordination between the two things. There have definitely been a lot of stories of people. Well, the problem is that like Minecraft, a Mojang account previously wasn't necessarily explicitly like a person. It was just an account.
Exactly.
And so one person could have multiple accounts.
Sure.
And that was fine.
Yeah.
Whereas a Microsoft account is sort of
tied to your identity.
It's kind of like what Facebook was doing with Oculus, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, so now you can only have if you want to have a second Minecraft account for whatever reason, you have to actually create a separate like Microsoft identity.
Right. So what's the fault? Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm willing to bet this had many problems in the same way that the Facebook Oculus thing did.
And so what has this now allowed Microsoft to do?
So Microsoft has now done a thing where they said if you get banned or suspended from a Minecraft server for nefarious, for being...
If you just get banned,
Yeah, for various things.
Who cares why?
Being an asshole.
Yeah.
Well, so this is in particular, so this is not if the mod of that server, if the admins of that server ban you.
So it's private Minecraft servers too.
So the trick here is that there are things you can get banned from a private Minecraft server.
Okay.
For whatever reason that the admin of that Minecraft server wants to ban you for.
Right.
They could just ban everybody whose name ends in a Y.
Exactly.
But
like Adam does.
But there's also you can also be people can report you to the central Microsoft authorities for nefarious behavior.
It's fair. And then they'll ban.
Either like chat, being an asshole in chat.
Sure.
Whatever, racist, sexist, all that bad stuff.
All the things that they say you can report somebody for.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Microsoft will ban you if they do, and if that happens,
Mm-hmm.
that's actually banning your account, which means you are not basically not able to play Minecraft online.
So I want to.
So, including
Private servers.
private servers,
Right,
or any
And
other
I'm
servers.
So
going
I'm-
to assume anything else that's Microsoft related.
I need to make this. I need to distill this down to its points. If you get banned from a private Minecraft server because the admin says, "I don't want you playing here anymore," that's all. You're just banned from that server.
Yeah, that's fine.
If that admin instead says, "I'm not going to ban them, I'm going to report them to Microsoft," and Microsoft says, "You're right, this person's a jackass and we should ban them for all these reasons," then banning your account means every Minecraft server,
Yeah.
public and private, you're
Public
banned from
and
all
private.
of them. So that's
So
very far-reaching.
yeah, the idea that you can be banned from a private Minecraft server, people find you can be banned from all private Minecraft servers. People find to be a little bit like, I mean, sure, obviously if there's somebody who is being a troll,
Yeah,
it's you probably don't want them on your server either.
right.
But you think maybe it could be like an opt-in thing.
I
or
wanna-
But
something.
also, if you run your if let's say you run your own server and you go to some other place and somebody's like, "Yo, I don't like that guy. Let's report him," and then you get banned from all servers, and including your own, is a possibility.
Well, like,
Yeah.
and I want to point out that James is in the chat. Clearly, we lit the Minecraft beacon, and he's here, and he wants to know if he's getting banned from Minecraft. And yes, James, absolutely, you were banned at least this morning.
The whole point was to try to ban everybody from Minecraft so we can
We-
get some actual productivity back in the world.
We specifically put this story down because in it said James Turner from Loading Ready Run, not
Yeah.
even famous YouTuber James Turner.
No,
is
that was
banned
kinda-
from
No, they had to
Minecraft.
be- they had to
were
be
very
specific.
specific.
Yeah.
They're like not the YouTuber one,
Yeah.
not the Pokemon
And
one.
you know what?
Yeah.
You want to know why they banned him? Caillou. That's why,
Ah,
James. That's
yes.
why you don't play the
there
Caillou
was
theme
there was
song.
a little asterisk at the bottom of all the things that you could be banned for, and
Yeah.
Caillou was one of them.
Yeah.
So this idea of this comes from, especially on the PC end of things. There's this idea of like, if you're running a private server, it's your server, do whatever the hell you want with it.
Right.
But because Minecraft is sort of tied to your Microsoft account now, that can be kind of locked out. Now, I think, if I read the article correctly, I think this currently, at least, only applies to Bedrock Edition,
Okay.
which is like the non-Java edition.
Right.
Probably
Okay.
because the Java edition, somebody could just release a mod that would make it not work. Like,
Yeah, sure.
the
Yeah.
Java edition can be modded, so you can basically do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
But I think this only applies to the Bedrock Edition. I might be wrong about that, but I think that's the case. But presumably they could, that might expand later.
Yeah.
But.
So this is like when we talk about how it's really cool, really cool that like if somebody owns a bunch of properties, they can have some cool crossovers. Here's the if somebody owns a bunch of things and wants you to put them all under one account. That's how this is less cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, banning trolls from things is good, but different communities have different levels of sort of what is deemed acceptable, and so the fact that can kind of spill over to different places, I feel like could have ramifications. We'll see.
Yeah.
This is one of those things where I suspect it might be basically like very seldom actually implemented, except for as sort of a thing for particularly problematic. Like it's only implemented if they actually really need it. But
Like it's one of those things where on the if we look at the Paragon side of things, it's like, this is good if somebody is being a jerk, then and has been a huge jerk, and they get banned off of a bunch of private Minecraft servers, and they get reported, and the Microsoft's like, you know what, we're just going to take care of this for everybody. We'll just get rid of this person off the service altogether, just prevent them from being able to do that. But then you look at the more renegade side of things. I have never played Mass Effect, so I don't.
Yeah, I don't
really
know
care.
why this, but okay.
But it's like, but you look at the other side, and it's like, also, this is a great way for anyone who's like, we need to harass the entire community. What's the best way to do that? I know. Let's go to this private Minecraft server, find out who's playing on there, and then let's file user reports with Microsoft and see how many of them get through to somebody being banned. And now all of a sudden, none of those people can play Minecraft anymore.
Microsoft has said that
they have to review everything.
Well, and that inappropriate use of the flagging system could itself be grounds for getting your account. Like, you know,
Sure.
if they see excessive amounts of flags coming that are
Spurious.
obviously spurious coming from your account, then
I suppose.
Then you get flagged.
Then that could you know, you could Uno reverse yourself on that, but
Yeah.
who knows?
Which list are you on? We're all on a list of some sort. I think I'm personally on at least 5.
Yeah. And all of these things, of course, there's all sorts of stuff about, like, you know, we've done enough stories on CheckPoint about moderation being applied unevenly in certain circumstances, that obviously there can be issues when, you know, if you get, you know, for the most sort of innocent thing being like your user is similar to somebody else who is doing a bad, like you get accidentally banned or something, and then have to go through the whole, you know, process of figuring out how to get your account unbanned when you lose access to like everything.
You know, they never go over that in any of the anime I watch where we're like in this future world where everybody's online with an avatar.
Yeah.
They never go through this thing of like, oh no, you've been banned, and then basically you've been ostracized from society because everybody's online in I refuse to use the term they use here, but you know, we just watched Belle, and the idea
the Beast and the
that they
Freckled
never
Princess.
talk about people getting banned there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a short story I read one time that was set in the future. There's a guy, and it's just about a guy who has he's been convicted of like computer hacking, and his punishment is that they do something to him so that he basically can't work computers anymore.
Oh,
like,
if he tries to sit
computers
and
just like don't make sense to him anymore.
Okay.
And so it's like, you know, he can't, like, he has to get people to help him, just like, he's not in jail or anything, but he just can't like function very well in society.
Right.
He has to get people to help him to do everything.
Exactly, yeah.
Just
Well, I mean, I remember
surprisingly nasty.
I remember when Y2K was a thing, and suddenly it was like everybody realized how connected to everything computers is.
Yep.
And now everyone's realizing that in terms of security.
Yeah. Well, how connected your life is to being able to be online in a lot of different respects.
Speaking of scary future things,
Oh, goody.
the Callisto Protocol
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a scary game.
is a future horror spaceship game.
Yep.
And I know that doesn't narrow it down that much. This was previewed at Summer Games Fest. Still doesn't narrow it down that much.
It is Sony State of Play. Again, doesn't really narrow it down.
So this is the one that I believe this is the one that is actually made as it's sort of a spiritual successor to
Dead Space.
Dead Space.
Really? I
In
thought
the
that was
sense,
one of the other ones.
That's
There were
fine.
like 5.
It's okay.
Anyway.
It's okay to feel completely off by that.
It's a spooky space game that has just started. You know, they started doing previews for it and stuff. And there's this great and also horrifying interview with the developers. They're talking about how they're building this thing and building a horror game.
Horrifying in the fact that they're working on horror engineering,
Yeah.
not like the horrifying stories we talk about other devs sometimes.
Yes, yes.
I want to clarify that.
This is wholesome horror in the sense that they are spending a lot of work to make this game into something I don't want to play, but I know people like it. So they have this something. They are what do they call it? The horror engineering, where basically they have a lot of work analyzing the patterns that players do when they play games, and then screw you over.
Right.
Yeah.
So an example they give is like at the very beginning of the game, you like open a door and a guy jumps out at you.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, scary. And then for like 5 levels, you can open doors and nothing will happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then sometime after you're lulled into a sense of security for opening doors, they have a scientific thing for like how long they have to wait until they can jump scare you again.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, sure, I understand that. It's the example that was like, we'll put some creepy, unsettling sounds on the left side of your ear, and then have something jump from you from the right.
Yeah, yeah. Or it's like we want to, and they're talking about like they want to throw your timing off. If there's a part that looks like there's going to be a jump scare, there won't be, and then there'll be something right, or there might not be.
Rather.
Or like a huge action set piece will happen and be like, and then another one will immediately happen.
Right, yeah.
But they also do talk about the idea of giving you breaks, because like,
right, yes.
you don't want to be tense for like 5 or 6 hours either.
Mm-hmm.
And when the way they discuss it really does sound a lot like somebody who is just talking about, here's the mechanics of trying to basically go through story progression, right? Where you want to have a build up and a climax, and you want to have your highs and your lows and your tension breakers.
Yeah. I remember the scariest game I've ever played was Fatal Frame. And it did that a lot. Like, it did the thing where, like, you would open a door and there'd be a guy, like, right there, and then would disappear. Like, before you could get your
camera up.
And you'd be like, or, your controller would start beating with, like, as, like, your heartbeat, as there's something near.
That's cool.
Okay.
And then sometimes it would just stop. And nothing would jump out at you.
Right. You
And
just be nervous.
sometimes something would jump out at you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you walk through a hallway you've been through 10 times before, and then something jumps out at you, not the first time.
I tried playing, I think, Resident Evil Revelations on the 3DS for a brief period of time. I don't really like horror games, so I don't know why I chose this one. But there was like a point where I walked into a room, and the music, the scary music that's like, there are monsters and things are going to hurt you, was just going, and I was just like, okay, I'm just going to stay in this corner, look around, see if I can find it and get rid of it. And then there was no monster in the room. I hadn't walked across the room for the music to stop.
So that was almost like you tricked yourself into...
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise the scariest thing I've played is Gone Home.
Oh, yeah.
Which, when you go into a game completely without the knowledge of what the game is supposed to be, and you're just like, is this a horror game?
I mean, it certainly has all the trappings of it. So, of course, you would think that it is. I mean, random trivia says, my theory on jump scares, the most effective total number of jump scares in a game is 1, and the next most effective number is 0.
As long as if you can convince someone that a jump scare might occur, then 0 is very effective.
That means needing to have familiarity with the trope of how that works in horror in the first place. But
I found Hollow Knight having mimics. There's like 5 mimics altogether. Yeah. But the first one you find makes you distrust everything for the rest of it.
You're like, oh no, that thing isn't safe anymore. Like those aren't my friends anymore.
And then I think they pile like 3 of them together, so after you find one, you're just like, okay, well the other 2 are probably safe.
Yeah.
I like this. So if somebody plays 5 or 6 hours of the game, it's hard to be amped up for that long.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of had little moments, not a lot, but where you can relax. Like, okay, it's just going to be combat for a little bit, or maybe I'm just going to get a little story here, and then I'm back to it. And even then, we might get you once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I mean, it sounds like a banger in terms of if you want a horror game.
Yeah, I mean, I think as an idea of structuring a horror game or everything, it's really interesting the amount of thought they're putting into it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna play this game, but that's just me.
And not just be like jump scares, but also like the tension.
Yeah,
Tension
I mean,
horror.
I won't play horror games for the same reason I won't go on roller coasters. I don't enjoy that level of
you don't-
constant like up and down.
You don't find it thrilling.
Yeah.
No.
But I do understand people who do find it thrilling.
Yeah.
Speaking of thrilling things, perhaps.
I mean, maybe too close to home.
There's a new game that's coming out called Hyenas. They just Sega and Creative Assembly, people behind Alien Isolation, and which highly regarded game, the Total War games. So it's a sci-fi first-person shooter called Hyenas. One of the unique aspects of it is it's like zero gravity, because the idea is that. The reason why I marked this as like a story is the premise is that you're in the future and billionaires have succeeded in
Going to space.
going to Mars
Okay.
and leaving Earth kind of crapped out.
Ah.
Yeah, and now you're gonna go
And so you're
ransack their stuff.
you're like going and ransacking stuff. You live on a rundown space station called The Taint.
Great.
And unlike some
Hope it was
games
named by the internet.
no, unlike some games that we did on Unskippable, this is not like the evil taint is going to come and
No, it's like the plague,
It's
no.
tainted. No, this is legitimately. They're like, we call the space station the Taint
Because
because
it's the space between
Yeah,
getting to
'cause-
Earth and getting to Mars.
If the internet had named this place, they would have named it McTainty McTaint Face.
yeah.
space station face.
Yeah.
But apparently one of the big thing, the sort of mechanic or the thing is you're like collecting. Basically, the billionaires that are on Mars are billionaires, and so most of the stuff they want to do is like get old pop culture things.
Okay.
I don't, that seems very unbelievable to me, but.
I would have expected
People
at
with
least
tons of
like,
money attempting to
I
relive
assume
popular
if you're
culture.
in space and you have a spaceship, that you also have a secondary spaceship with a spaceship on top of that spaceship, like I've seen with these yachts.
Right, yeah. And so you're like, in the demo video, I guess I could.
So they're scavengers,
They're like scavengers, and you're getting
thus hyenas.
and you're getting, and it's co-sponsored or co-developed with Sega. So there's like Sonic things and stuff.
Rubik's cubes.
Yeah, this trailer is cool in terms of like showing like the aesthetic and stuff. It doesn't actually illustrate that this is a shooter. Well, like what type of a game?
Yeah, lots
this
of
is.
shooting going on, but what kind of a
It's like, but is this like a tactical kind of game, or is this a? But from what I think, this is like a first-person
Looks
shooter.
like a first-person shooter type.
But it's all zero gravity, which is so you're going to be like going in all directions.
right.
Yeah, I think a gameplay trailer would be really useful. I just think it's really funny that we've already hit the point of, hey, so what if all the billionaires
Steal
made
merch.
it to space, and they left us behind, and it's like, okay, yes,
And we all turned into cyberpunks.
and
Yeah.
then we went and scavenged their old Rubik's cubes.
Yeah.
That's what has value?
Yeah, you know,
I mean,
living on the detritus of the previous whatever.
Anything can have value as long as everyone agrees on it.
Then why do we keep letting them have value?
I know, right? That's
Yeah, we'll just steal their NFTs. That's how it's going to
They
be.
can keep their NFTs. They can give me all their worthless cash that they don't seem to want.
I mean, it definitely looks very colorful and frenetic. And I'm sure if it's a PUBG type of situation where, only one can survive, or whether it's like a 5-on-5 thing, or
Yeah, I'm
who
not
knows what's
actually
gonna be,
totally
right?
clear whether it's like a PvP thing or
The whole escape to win thing makes me feel like you try to
Right.
find as much as you can and then get out, which means I'm guessing it might be like those things where it's like you need to escape from everybody else. But I'm like, but if everyone else is making a break for it, like, what kind of group are you playing in?
Yeah.
How are you
Well,
doing
I mean,
this?
there are shooters that are like that, right? Where you go in as groups trying to do certain things, get certain things. Maybe you interact with other people. Maybe you just try to get out with whatever you're doing.
Evil Badman says PvEVP.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, another one of those.
Yeah.
We talked about one of those last week.
Player
Yeah.
versus environment versus player.
Yeah, the one last week was you fight dinosaurs, though,
Yeah.
which already has a bit of an edge on this one, I gotta say. Dinosaurs versus billionaires?
But
Wait, billionaire dinosaurs.
Those dinosaurs were
Dinosaurs
imported.
Dinosaurs have had so much time to have their, interest accumulate in their bank accounts.
Yeah.
They're all billionaires.
I don't get it. Like they were around for millions of years, and only now are they getting popular. Because everyone has their moment.
What if zero-G dinos? Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, speaking of worthless things
worthless
Great.
billionaires.
and billionaires, I guess. Your friend and mine, Bobby
Nope.
Kotick.
Nope.
Nobody's friend,
Nobody's
Bobby.
friend.
Nobody's friend, Bobby Kotick, has been reelected to the board of Activision Blizzard. There was some thought or hope, I guess, maybe it was just wishful thinking, that the Microsoft buyout would result in Kotick going bye-bye.
Well, the buyout's not.
The buyout has not actually
not finished. This is a result of them having their annual meeting,
Yeah, they're
and there was also like a thing where he had said, because there's a bunch of allegations against Activision Blizzard for a variety of awful things, and I believe in the article he was quoted as saying that he would leave if stuff couldn't get resolved with speed
Sure.
or something. So I
Yeah.
think there was like the faintest glimmers of hope from some people that maybe they would finally make him leave.
Except that was never going to happen.
No, of course not.
No.
yeah.
And besides, this whole thing is for people like, why is this happening, and why is the whatever? And I'm like, because it's the shareholders who vote on stuff like this. And the bigger your block of shareholders, the more votes you can cast for who gets. The more money you have, the more votes you can cast for that kind of thing. And if you don't have any stake in the company, if all you do is buy their games, then you don't get to have a say in what goes on.
And I mean, to be fair, if I was a stockholder of Epic,
Yeah.
or of Activision Blizzard,
Any of them, let's be.
if I was a stockholder of Activision Blizzard, and you are, so close to having it like bought by Microsoft, I feel like let's just not just keep everything the same.
Yeah, don't upset
for
the apple
like
cart.
6 months.
I want my
Let's
buyout. I want
just
my
do
dividends.
this.
Yeah, give me my dividends.
Like if something goes like, if we bring in somebody else and that person goes totally and changes everything, maybe Microsoft won't like it anymore.
Yeah.
Let's just, unless Microsoft says that we have to change it out in order to, but let's just grit our teeth and get through this, and then we'll get a huge dump truck full of money,
Yeah.
and then we can all go home happy.
Yeah.
Except for, all the people who work for Activision Blizzard.
Well, I mean, nobody really cares about their happiness, do they?
Yeah. It was not. It was kind of like, this has happened. It shouldn't come as a surprise to people, and yet people might be surprised by this result. And it's like, really, ultimately, it comes down to big business and big money, and The business of making the video game is one thing, but the business of making the video game is, I guess, a separate thing, isn't it? That's true
Yes.
of a lot of different
I
things.
guess maybe the hope was that the Microsoft acquisition would have been finalized before this shareholder meeting, so that
Exactly.
so I don't know whether whether this is like a re-up for another bunch of time or whether it's every year, but
Yeah.
whatever the case.
So that happened.
It's probably a multi-year
That happened.
term.
You know,
We're not surprised.
we're not surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Still disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like most of my week.
That's true, right? You can definitely be like, I'm not
Like, you can
surprised,
be-
but I
yeah.
can definitely be
You
disappointed.
You can still be disappointed by results that you can see coming a mile away.
Exactly.
It's true. It's true. Something else that is surprising.
Is that man driving a car?
No.
Okay.
He's driving two fish.
He's dressed like he's driving a car.
That's because that man is a professional fisherman.
Ah.
I didn't know.
Are
that-
you ready for
drove their cars.
Bassmaster Fishing 2022?
Is this an EA Sports that's in the
Oh,
game?
Maybe it's like Rocket League where you go fishing with your car.
Oh, that's good. I like
nope,
that.
This is Dovetail Games,
Ah.
developer of other games like Train Simulator 2022 and Fishing Sim World Pro Tour.
Okay.
So they're an alternate developer of simulation sports titles, which means FIFA. I got a company for you.
Like
I don't think FIFA needs
soccer and fishing, like
Roughly
pretty,
equivalent.
pretty similar.
Yeah.
help. Again, just kick the soccer ball right at the fish.
Both
Yeah.
played on a giant field of whatever, and it's 11 on 11.
So, Bassmaster Fishing 2022 Super Deluxe Edition is arriving on Switch, with support for motion control Joy-Cons
Yes.
for
Oh,
casting and
Great.
stuff.
I hope it uses the Labo fishing rod.
Oh, right, there already is a fishing rod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can make it yourself if you can find of it anymore.
Delivering maximum immersion as players feel every flick of the wrist as they cast their lines into bass-filled waters. I can't help but fishing games are cool. You know, lots of people like fishing games.
They occupy a niche.
Obviously,
Fishing minigames and everything.
well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like fishing game like this is actually quite. I mean, this is the the fishing game in like Stardew Valley is Mario Kart to this game's like Forza.
Yeah. Assetto Corsa or whatever.
Put a,
Yeah.
put a fishing minigame in my fishing game.
Now, if this was more like Golf Story, right?
That's like fishing, but like with like an RPG thing.
fishing is your method by which you have battles or by which you
Okay.
do the RPG.
I mean, speaking of battles, though, there is a new fishing battle royale,
Do you play as the fish? Play as
No.
the fish.
No.
Damn it!
Yeah,
Damn it!
I think you
but it's
definitely
like
need to play
it's
the
a whole bunch of fishermen, and you're fishing, and people get like eliminated.
Oh, okay. Okay. Pulled over the side by a giant fish and drown. I like this kind of game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks great, though. Very pretty.
I can't help but think how much better this game could be if instead of Bassmaster Fishing 2022, it was Bassmaster Fishing 2022. Like it's fishing, but also like a rhythm game.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be into that. I've always been kind of hoping that maybe the Final Fantasy fishing on its own game would come over to Switch someday. Mainly because I don't want to play a VR game.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can. There's 11 real-world venues to fish, ranging from largemouth hotspots, like the largemouth hotspot of Chickamauga Lake, to the dense backwaters of the Sabine River.
These are probably all real places.
Yes, these
Okay.
are
I mean, it's a
real-world
simulation game, so
Chickamauga Lake, obviously made up.
Yeah. Oh my god.
So, yeah, I dig the bass fishing, but like realistic, and the fact that I love that this is like this is actually like there's a real this has got like a career mode in it.
Yeah.
Which
Oh, cool,
so you
yeah.
can go as people do in the real world, start out as like a low-level
A child. We call them
Bass.
children.
bass fisherman,
Okay.
and work your way up through the professional fisherman series.
I do actually really love the take. If we had done this as a story, we should have just called it Basemaster and just been like, now it's like Guitar Hero, but it's about catching fish, which is weird because you're a Basemaster.
No, I want all the weirdness.
Yeah.
Basically, that's just the name for the Splatoon rhythm game I want, right?
Yeah.
And I don't mean to excite you guys too much,
Oh no.
but you can even play as officially licensed Elite Series anglers, such as Scott Martin and two-time Bassmaster Classic champion Hank Cherry.
Wow. So
Good-
you're saying
good
that I
for
can
you.
play as a fisherman,
Yeah,
and not just any fisherman,
a
a
real,
fisherman.
a real good fisherman.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, it's funny because
Yeah.
it's fishing, but
Yeah.
I would like to point out that I am not saying that these people aren't incredibly skilled
No.
at their job. That I'm sure they can fish much better than I could.
Look,
Yeah.
I saw someone earlier in the chat, I'm sorry I didn't see who said it, said that they should make the game like Birdie Wing where you have to go fight the fish mafia.
Yes.
And to that I say, where's the Birdie Wing video game?
Yeah. Right.
I don't
There will be.
yeah.
There has to be.
There has to be a golf game of that, right?
Yeah.
That has to be a thing.
Yeah. Rated M for mature.
I don't care what it's rated.
Yeah.
Uh,
Naturally, though, the idea of fishing, if we ever make a video game for any reason, and I don't have any idea what it is, but we definitely have to like put ourselves in as like world champions of something, like our own characters, like our own visages and stuff. It's like I want to now be in a game that somebody else is maybe like two-time all-world elite professional champion of whatever the fuck the thing is, Brendan Beach Deary, and having people be like, "Oh, this guy must be good," and
Yeah,
be like,
yeah.
doesn't who gives a shit who that guy is? But anyway, Lee Trevino's putting challenge. Anyway, go ahead.
So this is, I think we may have like referenced the base story for this sometime way long ago in a episode of CheckPoint.
Is it because it's Sonic's 30th anniversary?
It's always Sonic's 30th anniversary.
It is. You may have heard Sonic's 30th anniversary.
It will be Sonic's 30th anniversary till the end of time.
But that's sort of unrelated. Well, it's only peripherally related to the story in the sense that the Sonic Origins.
Oh,
pack came
right.
out.
Oh, right.
Oh,
So-
he suddenly remembers what the story's about.
So I know, Beej, maybe you actually know more about this than I do. But there's this whole thing about Sonic 3. This was like a rumor
Yep.
that has been going around about Sonic 3 forever.
Specifically the
since
music.
the game
It
came
is
out.
a legendary status rumor. Like,
Right. So the idea was that Michael Jackson was a big fan of the Sonic games. And there's the Michael Jackson Moonwalker game for
Genesis?
For Genesis.
Yep. And arcade.
And after that, Sega got him to work on the music for Sonic 3.
Yeah.
And then there was controversy about his personal life.
Yes.
And Sega totally
They dissolved this
scrubbed-
relationship. Yes.
totally scrubbed him from all marketing information about it.
Yes.
But there's this rumor that he was somehow involved and that like the music maybe had been changed or maybe hadn't been changed. Maybe they were still using some of his music. Maybe they weren't. People didn't know quite what it was.
Yeah.
But it was this persistent thing that kept happening. So Sonic Origins just came out with Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And some of the music for Sonic 3 is different than in the original release.
And so everyone went, this must mean it's because they couldn't get the rights, the clearance, to music they technically would own because it's Michael Jackson music.
Right.
Because he must still have a copyright on it somehow, and so therefore they'll never get it. But nobody was really sure if that was the
Well,
case.
no, but I mean that's the speculation. That's
Yeah.
the thing that goes on, and then there was a tweet.
Yeah, and so then the former producer of the Sonic titles, Yuji Naka, just randomly posted a tweet being like, "Oh, they changed the Sonic 3 music, even though Sega officially uses Michael Jackson's music. That's weird, because Sega just recently put out a thing of like Sonic dancing to Smooth Criminal."
Yeah.
So he's like, "Oh, they changed the music for Sonic 3, even though Sega's official uses Michael Jackson music."
Yeah, the marketing side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like,
and then it just
what
sort of
are you connecting here, my man?
And then he just sort of dropped that, and people were like, "Wait, is that? Are you confirming that they were using Michael Jackson's music?" And then there's
the responses were great. I like the one that's like logs on, confirms a rumor, decades old, walks out.
And you know what? I'll take that.
Yeah.
Every day of the week, I will take somebody coming on and telling us the solution to an old rumor where it's like, no. It's like, everyone seems, oh, it's cool that they're putting Mewtwo in this game, but, why isn't it that everyone wouldn't just catch Mew in red by standing in front of the truck and pressing up and B or whatever the fuck? Like, if that actually happened, some programmer from Game Freak said that out loud and it'd be like, that is a thing you could do? That was a real thing? Like, if that happened, people's minds would be blown.
I like somebody in the comments is like, seriously, does he even realize how many tabloid fodder recyclers he just left without a source of income? And then, so he sort of tried to like walk it back a little bit. He was like, I think there's been some
misunderstanding,
some mistranslations or misunderstanding. But then also he's posted a picture of, it's like, this is a picture taken by me with my camera when we went to his house in his helicopter. It's pretty faded. I miss it. And it's...
So, establishing that you had a relationship...
well, it doesn't even say the word...
probably.
It doesn't even say Michael Jackson, but
No.
it's a
picture of Neverland.
Yeah, so it's like weird.
Yeah.
Apparently confirmed that Michael Jackson at least had some hand in the music for Sonic 3, and that's why the music for Sonic 3 is different in the classic version.
That tweet may have taken away speculation jobs, but it gave everybody who has to fill their quota of articles for that day one less article they have to write.
Yeah,
exactly.
And in a way, the way in which it was talked about means that anyone who really needs this rumor to survive will say, no. Don't. He didn't come right out and say it, so we can still speculate on it, and I can still make my ad revenue. Like, there's still that opportunity to be like, we can hand wave this stuff. It's like, you're the one who wants the truth, and like, but I don't need the truth. I need people to click on my shit. It's like, right, okay. Just at this point, we should just accept that all these things are true. These things that don't matter ultimately, we should just accept they're true and just move on.
All rumors are true.
Yeah.
But what
Forget
about my
it.
clickbait titles?
I mean, well, that's like Betteridge's law of headlines. If somebody makes a headline that ends in a question mark, the answer is always no.
Right. Yes. I love that.
Yeah. And it's weird how true it is all the time.
Yeah. Could this thing give you cancer? No.
No.
Does Beach know the answer?
Because if they actually had like useful information, they would have actually just had a definite headline.
People already putting that in there, right? Bytecaster says YouTube videos, which I was like, is the song creator lying to us about Michael Jackson? No.
Yeah, no, they're really good on that too because they've got the right letters all capsed.
Is the space shuttle going to be in Microsoft Flight Simulator?
Maybe.
Actually, it might be.
Okay.
No, I knew the answer to that one.
So, Microsoft Flight Simulator, the super realistic flight sim game, they've been adding all sorts of cool stuff to it. Apparently, it's super cool, super good. But there's a upcoming update where there will be the game's 40th anniversary update.
Okay.
40th anniversary of like the original,
Yeah,
not this version,
okay,
obviously.
I was gonna say.
It hasn't been that long.
I thought that game just came out.
But they're going to be adding developing a new aspect to their physics engine called for fluid dynamics simulation of like airflow,
Nice.
which basically allows them to the two things allows them to do helicopters and gliders is the two things that that sort of enables. So
Right.
previously, obviously helicopters fly in a very particular way, and gliders are don't have an engine at all, so they require a whole different thing. And I'm assuming flying a glider in this game won't be like flying a glider in like I don't know, Mario games or something where there's like a big like obvious cone where the hot thing
Right, and you go over
it's
top
like,
of it.
or go over and then go up and then go, like
okay.
I'm assuming it'll be a little more complicated than
Yeah,
that.
you'll have to learn how to spot thermals and stuff on your own based on like the behavior of the clouds and maybe on like, oh well, I know there would be a hot spot over this parking lot or whatever. Yeah. That's cool though. Okay.
So, but part of this though is there's a particular glider that the developers are very interested to get their hands on,
Right.
which is the space shuttle.
Oh, I was going to say Breath of the Wild's glider.
Yeah.
Because something which I guess I kind of knew in the back of my mind, but really struck home is that the space shuttle doesn't actually when it landed
Yeah.
it's not powered.
No.
It doesn't have big engines on the wings or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it actually comes in unpowered. It
has
glides,
to-
and you
yeah, it has to glide in.
really got to get it the first time.
Yeah.
And so and so saying Jorg Newman, who's the head of Microsoft Flight Simulator, he says I flew to Washington and had a conversation with the people who actually have the space shuttle. We have to sign a deal, and that's going to take some time. But fundamentally speaking, can we? Should we? I think we should.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, while you're on that thing of things you think you should do for this specific game, my understanding is like the map is realistic as well, like of what you're flying over and everything.
It's very
Great.
mostly.
So can we add in a mode where I can have a simulation where I can be a cartoon villain who steals landmarks?
And then like flies them around with your
And then
plane.
maybe I fly them into the desert for ransoming.
That sounds
Ooh.
good. Yeah.
I like that.
I've been watching
Kind of the
a lot of Chip and Dale recently.
Right.
as in,
And-
or the like Despicable Me. I think they do that a lot too.
I want to point out at the end of the episode where the guy managed to steal all of these landmarks and then stick them in Monument Valley, because wouldn't that be funny? He had superpowers from a meteoroid to do it, and the rescue rangers were like, great, and they basically like put some signals on the monuments afterwards, and they're like, that should get the authorities here so they can move these things back, and then they left.
We're like, oh, we're done.
It's like that's like a multi-year like process to move these.
Yeah.
Unless you have this ability, in which you can do it in like an hour. It's like, oh, to get all this stuff back is going to take forever.
Oh no, they definitely broke the superpower meteorite thing.
Yeah,
So
okay.
so they are not going to have that.
That's also a very like Carmen Sandiego thing.
Oh yeah.
They're like Carmen Sandiego has stolen the internet.
How? With a blimp. No, you're not listening.
You don't understand. We keep putting the internet in this one box with a light on it.
Yeah.
And it keeps getting stolen every now and then. We got to stop giving it to Cloudflare because they keep making it go down.
Final Fantasy 16
Oh no.
is a
Final
Final Fantasy that's coming out that is not Final Fantasy 7.
Right. Yes. Okay. I
You
was
might
like,
be
sure.
confused.
Are we on that yet? Okay. Yeah.
The Final Fantasy, the current, like, the Final Fantasies that are currently, like, under development are Final Fantasy 7, 14, and 16. Those are the
Okay.
Final Fantasies that, like, new
But
content
we
is
know
coming out for.
we know 15 is done.
Yeah, 15, because 15 is, like, done. 14 is the online one, so there's new
Right.
content
And they
coming
gave
out.
up on 11 because that was also online, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
of course, they have to keep
seven,
remaking seven of the Faustian bargain.
Yeah, 7's forever.
Yeah.
Maybe new content is coming out for 11 too. I thought 11 had sort of gone by the wayside since 14 came out, but
Well,
maybe
I just don't. The only one I ever hear anyone I know talk about is 14. But admittedly, my sample size of people who talk about Final Fantasy is just Jacob. So
anyway, there's been some more details about Final Fantasy 16. It is, for one, they said that it is not going to be open world, which Final Fantasy 15 and arguably 14. But Final Fantasy 15 was kind of an open world style
Drive
thing.
around and do things.
Whereas this is going to be more sort
linear
of
gameplay.
Well, or probably more like previous Final Fantasy games with sort of like areas that you go to as opposed to just like
completely open.
completely
world.
open. Yeah.
Yeah, the term open world sometimes gets used
It's
vaguely to mean certain other things.
It's thrown around a lot these days. Yeah.
And it's in maybe too many games these days. So I'm fine with them if they don't want to necessarily do another open world.
It will also be rated M. The first Final Fantasy game to be rated M.
Oh.
It's just cut. Everyone's got their cock out.
Well, he says the producer Naoki Yoshida has said that he complained about age ratings, saying that they're becoming more and more restrictive recently regarding what can and cannot be shown. But having the lower rating was creating somewhat of a hindrance to storytelling. You find yourself changing things that you wanted to do in the game based on that rating. We wanted to show something, but because we have to have the certain rating that you need to go to, you have to move the camera away, or making the whole experience feel cheaper.
They want to do more adult themes.
I like that everyone in the chat is like, all right, cool, mature rating. That means Sid is going to swear. That's what that means, right? Sid's going to finally say fuck. I'm like, no, because you can get one F-bomb at a PG-13 rating, which means that you could get T for teen, I'm sure, with one F-bomb. Probably.
The video game rating system is different than the...
Right, but that's what I'm saying. You can get T for teen, probably with like a single curse word buried somewhere no one's going to see it.
I don't know
Right.
what the requirements are.
But I'm sure that is if Sid only says the word fuck. Every time you see him, he's like, fuck! Like, it's like, then I'm like, okay, now that's M for mature.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're gonna want to maybe tone down the swearing on our own show because YouTube will definitely limit our ads.
They don't even have ratings on YouTube videos. All they have is the ability to take away your ability to make money.
YouTube has the ability to be annoying and change up everything in the background and never change their documentation. But we're not here to talk about YouTube.
We're gonna get banned for that more than we're gonna get banned for me saying a thing.
Yoshida says that Final Fantasy 16 will be pursuing a mature rating in most of the regions they'll be releasing the game in. It's not just for the sake of being more violent or more explicit, he said, but to explore more mature themes that the game tackles.
Oh, Sid's gonna bone.
Well, no,
Moogle.
I'm pretty sure his name's Clive in this one.
Clive's gonna bone a Moogle.
I think it's Clive, because there was like a thing in this article about the AI running your party members because they wanted you to focus on the one character.
Right, so like 13.
That's the other thing, yeah. That's kind of interesting.
13 had that whole paradigm shift thing going on where it's like, oh, I want my characters to do this now, and you do that, and the characters will do it. Meanwhile, you have to read all the CNN stock tickers and shit as they're going flying by.
Apparently, the other thing that's actually sounds totally kind of actually sounds pretty neat, and kind of wonky, but saying that the icon, whatever the summons in the game, these powerful EIKONS.
Acon. Yeah.
Those are like the big summons. So your
right.
Shiva,
I remember the trailer now. Yeah.
Your
it's all gods, Bahamut and
Bahamut and all that stuff. Yeah.
Ifrits or
and whatnot.
So they can, but they fight each other, but each combination of these guys will be different. So one might be reminiscent of a 3D shooter, whereas another one might be more like a pro wrestling match. Another one might be transform the entire arena into a battlefield. So it's like
I'm
different
sorry.
combinations.
Did I miss part of this conversation? Did I blank out? Is this like how you have to summon them?
No, or this is like when they're fighting each other. I guess maybe you summon them and the bad guys summon them.
Oh, okay. So they just have like a different kind of animation of a thing that they're doing.
But it sounds like when you are fighting with these things, you sort of drop into like a mini game or something. That's
I hope that in order to make it cool,
maybe one will be fishing.
that every time you go to fight, the only way to fight in this game is by summoning the world's baddest ass gods that have ever existed, and every summon is like Knights of the Round, and that is
That takes forever to play.
I hope the game is like it's 148 hours. I'm like, yes, of course it is. The game would be done in 15 if the summons weren't an hour long, and that every fight is always two massive gods having a clash all the time. So it just becomes nothing. Like it just means nothing to you by the end. That it's like this is world-ending power striking each other, and it should be raising in villages and killing millions of humans. And instead, it's just like, yawn. This is the same shit that happens every night. You know, like I go out for a fight and I fight like I have to fight like 6 slimes in the forest, but they all summon the fucking a supernova, and it's like I have to fight that thing, and it's like I love that. Do that. Make this game just trash.
Play card games and
and then it's like concentration after the summons happen. Then you have to play a game of memory.
So
I design terrible video games.
Yeah, clearly.
So I don't know what that means, and we probably won't find out for quite a while. But it sounds cool. It sounds like a neat idea.
Did they give 16 a release window? It's like next year or something.
Yes, I think. I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know if it's actually 2023 summer.
Okay.
Is the current plan.
If they're aiming for summer, and we're currently in 2022 summer, then I would assume we probably know more about what all of that actually means closer to spring.
Right.
Like specifically knowing what that means, just like they're going to clearly advertise more of it, but
yeah.
We'll definitely know by summer next year.
Speaking of things that people want to know more about, Treasure, the developer, Treasure, known for making Gunstar Heroes, Sin and Punishment, and Ikaruga. Very popular game, sort of high quality, sort of, especially like super high quality like sprite work and stuff. Is their big thing. Ikaruga is one of the Ikaruga. One of the quintessential bullet hell kind of.
It sure
games.
is. It's that if you don't know which one that is, it's a vertical shooter, and you can flip your vehicle upside down. So if you're black, you can get hit with black bullets. And they'll heal you, I think, but you can't get hit with white bullets. But if you flip over, you can get hit with white bullets.
Oh, okay.
You have to change. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's a trip.
And much like Sonic, it is Treasure's 30th anniversary.
It's the never-ending 30th anniversary.
People turn 30 all the time.
Yeah. June 19th, 2022 was their 30th anniversary. And this year, the year of the 30th anniversary. So this is one of these great tweets that they put out. We are working hard to announce the highly requested that title.
Oh no.
We look forward to your continued support of Treasure.
Yeah, I want to know what that title is supposed to be.
This is Treasure fans only know what this is.
Or it's like, you know, whatever you really, really want, that's what we're making.
I guess. I mean.
Oh my god.
It's like you're making Breath of the Wild too.
Yeah, essentially that, or Silk Song, or what else is that have people been screaming for lately? Banjo-Kazooie 3.
What a great non-announcement, though.
Yeah.
You have to be familiar with really be familiar with and love Treasure to understand why this might be a thing. But then you have to love Treasure in a way that they expect that you love them. It's like, don't you remember when we announced this one game like decades ago? And it's like, I don't remember this whatsoever.
I don't know. What I'm hoping is that it's going to end up being like a new version or a sequel to a game that like is one of their like really obscure titles.
Yeah.
You know, if it's like Nintendo was like, bam, Balloon Fight 2.
Yes. been salivating for a sequel to that for many generations.
To come back to making fun of the anniversary thing, I did listen to a podcast the other day that referred to the Sonic anniversary. I know this is just like a miswording, but they were like, oh yeah, it's Sonic. Sonic's in its anniversary year. I'm like, isn't that every year? Isn't every year technically an
Yes,
anniversary?
actually, you're right. Yes.
What? I think,
Yeah, it's
I
just
think
an
you missed a
important
word.
anniversary
Yeah.
year.
Did anyone give a shit when it was their 25th anniversary? I don't even think they gave a shit when it was their 25th anniversary.
I mean, typically it's like 25's been considered like a big one. I feel like everyone's been going with 30 because it's been like, oh, it's been 5 years and an anniversary is a good excuse
Like
to do
25th
marketing.
Yeah, like 25th anniversaries are definitely. I mean, every 5 years.
Usually is what happens, but I think it comes down to more of people making a big deal of 30th anniversaries because it's like, well, think about when video games started, and think about how most of these companies are then, or most of these doing whatever is like, they're all going to be roughly 30 to 35 years old or whatever at this point. So, or like big titles that came out would be about 30 years old at this point. And so for them to be like, yes, we have things to promote because we know that now you, aging millennial, are in a position to
But are
want
you
to spend
going-
lots of
But
money on
it's
this.
like I think what we're seeing is that the 30th anniversary is just like when the Nintendo
yeah,
came out, right? So it's like all these franchises that started.
they're
at
all
that
kind of
point,
yeah.
yeah.
That's
On
why
at the same year, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but that's what I mean. Like, do you care about the number 35
not really.
as an anniversary year? Like,
No.
typically it's like 5's kind of a big deal because that's a long time if you're doing
Yeah.
like a podcast or something. 10 because
Much bigger deal 'cause it's
hitting
double
that
digits.
15.
Not really.
Not really. 20.
Yes.
20 can be 25 because
25 more so.
quarter of 100.
Yep.
And we seem to really like that number. 30 was never really like the next one in there is like 50 really.
Yeah, because
when you
people
get
don't
down
really
to it.
think about 40 so much. Like, you celebrate your 40th birthday because they always say you're over the hill at that point, right? But it's like you celebrate your 40,
Uh-oh.
but I'm 43, yes, and so like it's like that means 50's the big one, and so we know that when I hit my 50th anniversary, there's going to be some killer fucking merch. Just
That's
wait
how you're
for
going
it.
to celebrate your birthday?
Yeah, I'm
right.
gonna release a whole bunch of merch that's just about me in loading ready run on the store.
Chat,
Just-
need you to clip that because we're gonna need that in a long time in the future to
7 years.
remind him.
It's not that long a time.
That he will surely have forgotten this in the next 2 minutes.
If people are still buying merch from us in 7 years, I'm going to be incredibly happy.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Me and Cameron, we're both
Beach-
going to release merch that year.
Beach is incredibly happy whenever you buy merch at all.
It's true. At
Store.loadingreadyrun.com. CheckPoint mugs.
Get your own portable hole.
Yeah. I'm so glad you like that joke.
I do.
Makes me glad to know you think I'm funny.
I do. Ooh, is this
Check
Punch Out?
No, check out this video.
Mario sits on...
Oh, it's Mario. Wait.
Oh.
Oh no. Wait.
Oh, my
wait,
God.
What?
Huh?
Oh my.
How do you want? How do you want to play Mario Odyssey with 10 of your friends? Well, 9 of your friends.
What on earth?
I don't know that I have that
This
many
seems
friends.
impossible.
It's a Mario Odyssey mod that somebody made that allows you to play with 9 other people.
Like online, locally?
Yeah, online.
Okay.
Because like locally, it seems like a real scary thing.
Well, it's a mod, so
Yeah,
you would
yeah.
have it's like in an emulator, right?
Oh, that was good. The
But
2D.
apparently,
Yeah.
it's like people are coming up with all sorts of games to play by like all turning into a certain type of enemy.
Yep.
And then doing a thing. Like, it seems like a totally bonkers, amazing idea.
What a great idea.
Turning into a tank, everybody.
feel-
Oh yeah.
I feel terrible that Nintendo's going to C&D this, because this is an amazing idea. And frankly, if they could come up with a way to do this, they should do this. The kind of emergent
honestly,
gameplay.
A Mario sandbox mode like this would be really killer.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And it's not like Odyssey needed this.
No.
But the fact that that somebody made this is like, this is a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, no, that looks amazing.
Oh.
Good
Yeah,
job.
so this is Crafty Boss is the person who made this mod. Still under development. I'm taking feedback on the mod, but it allows you to play with up to 10 people online. You can play through the game together, sharing the moon collection between you.
Makes sense.
Have fun exploring kingdoms with friends, playing game modes, beating the game as fast as possible. This mod is in early development, so expect bugs and unrefined aspects as we work hard to improve it, making the mod more polished. Features: explore the kingdom together. Almost every capture in the game is synced between players. Full 2D and costume model syncing. Moon collection is shared. Custom configuration menu. Support for custom game modes. So yeah, it seems like totally it's like, you know.
If you told me, hey, do you want multiplayer in Odyssey? I'd have been like, no, why? What? How would you even do that? What would it be good for?
This is one of these. This is one of these like Nintendo should like cease and desist and then hire this guy to make it for real.
Yeah. Be like, we want to graft this into the thing, make it part of the expansion pack. Like, I don't know, but it seems, like, because it's not a thing that you'll probably get like a few 100,000 people playing it right off the top, definitely, and it will peel itself away over time. You might only have a few thousand people who want to play it ultimately, like for longer in the future, but still, that's what a cool, fun, weird, and that's Nintendo, right? It's like we want to make fun stuff. I'm like, this guy's beating you to it.
I mean, as Laserbeak's Fury says, can you imagine a officially licensed Mario-themed game where multiple people can play together and compete in mini games? Which, I mean, fair play to you. Mm-hmm. Basically, they should take a bunch of these things and turn them into
a Mario
Party thing.
Yeah. Open world Mario Party.
Yeah, Mario Party Odyssey. Seems like a really cool idea.
Yeah, I mean, you might not be able to use the Mario Party branding because a lot of that is associated with actual game boards.
Yeah.
And if you're going for something that's not going to be on a game board, but you're running around, I probably wouldn't use that name.
Yeah.
But that idea is not.
I love the idea of, hey, play Odyssey, and everyone can just go after their own moons, and then you can get off the... You can get out the kingdom way faster. It's
or like,
because if you're all on a headset and you're like, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to go do this, right? And you all break and just fly out to go do that.
Or having like 2 or 3 people with Hattie.
Yeah.
You know, because you can, or Cappy.
Yeah.
Because you can like, you know, you could have like a whole thing of like people throwing and bouncing and like all sorts of weird moves that you could do, right?
Right. Because if you could interact with everybody else's hats as well to jump on them to do things, man.
Yeah, I still think even just having the different levels open up as like a sandbox thing where you run around, even if you're not collecting moons or doing anything, that can be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I also like the only kingdoms they showed there were New Donk City, the Cap Kingdom, and the Ancient Kingdom, the T-Rex Kingdom. They didn't really nobody was going to the Desert Kingdom to play nobody wants to go to the Desert Kingdom.
You know, I mean, maybe they not all the levels work yet.
Yeah,
it's in development.
They could start with the Ruined Kingdom. It's very small.
Yeah,
it's mostly just stairs.
There's the Forest Kingdom that has all the cool like mix of the forest, but also the technology kind of thing. Yeah.
This actually reminds me, and sort of relevant to the next story, but I saw a thing about another multiplayer mod that somebody made for this time for Elden Ring, because Elden Ring has multiplayer in it, but if you watched when Ben Wheeler and Adam were playing, it's sort of weird multiplayer. It's not just like you're 2 people traveling around together. You only get to be multiplayer at certain, like you can sort of summon another person into your game for certain things, like boss fights and stuff. But you can't just like go around with them all the time.
Right. Okay.
Until this mod came out. So this person made this mod to make it so you could actually literally bring a person into your game, and the 2 of you can go off and either you can actually go separately Like you don't have to
Oh,
stick
okay.
around the other person even.
Right.
You can, but people can go seamless multiplayer. It's quite amazing. But the hilarious part about it is the consternation that it's caused because how it works is that it's got its own sort of matching like you can't play using the Elden Ring matching servers
okay.
because it's a whole different thing. Like you're modding it and it's a whole different thing.
Right.
So it has to run it. It's actually, I think it actually is like a peer-to-peer thing that it's running between the computers and stuff.
Sure.
Which means that people can't that it doesn't support invasions. Because that's the other big thing in all the Dark Souls games, or the Soulsborne type games and stuff, where people can, if you are sort of public, people can invade your, random people can invade your game and attack or do whatever. Sometimes they fight you, or they might help you, or whatever.
Exactly.
And so there's kind of hilarious consternation in certain communities, being like, "What? We can't invade. This mod is terrible. We should, can we need to like tell or get the guy who's making this mod to not release, petition to have him not release this mod." Because he's ruining. Because the more people who play this mod, the less people, the less people who are going to be opening themselves up to us invading them.
Right. Holy crap!
I mean, can't you turn that off anyway? Because it's like if you don't go online.
Yeah, you can just by not going online, but
can't.
then you can't have anybody help you out either.
Yeah, so I don't think I'm against. No, I specifically a person who's really gun-ho about going and invading people. I don't know that I want them.
Yeah, so there'd just be like, you are wrecking, by making your game better, you are wrecking our game. Is sort of how it works, which is like, I guess, but I have not that much sympathy.
No, I don't either. Holy crap! Wow.
And they're like, because they're like they correctly say it is part of the gameplay of the game.
Absolutely.
But still, it's something that has always like struck me as kind of like, I don't think I would enjoy that if I played those games. Anyway,
did that happen a lot on stream for Adam and Wheeler?
I don't know, to be honest.
Honestly, I have no idea.
Okay. I feel like it probably didn't otherwise, because we heard that they were getting constantly invaded and just being like, where people are constantly invading our game and we can't get anywhere as a result.
I think we would have heard about some of that if that was happening, but I don't actually know because. Yeah. But Elden Ring is what you wanted to talk about.
Yeah. So this story reminded me of that. That story.
That story reminded you of this story, which reminded you of this story.
Because Elden Ring, obviously, wonderful game. And has some really beautiful, wonderful music in it.
Okay.
And especially in like boss fights and different things and stuff.
Take your word for it, yeah.
And some really epic music and with like very mysterious, evocative lyrics, but not that are you can't understand them. They're sort of part of the music, but they're kind of they sound Latin-ish.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So is this a made-up language?
And so people... So there's a... somebody did a whole thing where they were like... somebody who's a student studying Latin was attempting to translate the songs and realized that it's actually total gibberish.
Great.
Like it's not actually... Like the songs are not actually... they just sort of sound
Latin.
kind of they sound kind of like like a
choir would sing,
ceremonial church type.
Okay.
Yeah, there's that's funny because like I swear there's some Yoko Kanno songs for like Escaflowne and stuff where there's they're whole sung songs and yet I'm pretty sure it's not a language. So yeah, I think that's a popular idea. Especially, coming from Japan, right, where it's like they're probably like, does it sound like what we want it to sound like? Yes. Well, It doesn't matter if it's a language, does it? Like we don't know what it means, so maybe it doesn't have to mean anything.
Yeah.
one of the famous a famous instance of that is the Gladiator, or the movie Gladiator.
Right.
There's some very, very beautiful music in that
Mm-hmm.
that appears to be sung in a language,
Mm-hmm.
but it is not actually it is a language that the artist who sings it has actually sung. It's this language that she sort of has created in order to kind of
Make songs without putting in the lyrics yet.
to sort of concentrate on the sound as opposed to the actual meaning.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, that's how some songwriters do that, where they say or sometimes they just say other words to fill in until they can put in the words that they want.
Yeah.
I do think I'm not surprised that somebody tried to translate
Yeah.
the thing. That's I see that on the internet all the time. I don't think it's bad either that they've
No,
made
not
a
at all.
gibberish language. I do find it really more interesting when I end up watching a video where someone's like, okay, so we can tell that they actually did make up a language, and now we can translate that there are simple phrases on pieces of artwork or something in the fake whatever video game language. I
Right,
do like
it does
that.
sort of create like a whole sort of world building
Yeah,
thing.
and it feels like then that they've put in some clues into the game that you could potentially find, even if that's never a thing you're going to do.
There was also in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is the Greek one.
Mm-hmm.
They had done Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which is of course very famous for having wonderful sea shanties in it.
Right. Yeah.
And this was they brought out this game, and it has a large amount of stuff traveling around on ship.
Right.
Because the Origins was in Egypt, so there wasn't like a lot of boat travel. But in this one, there's a large portion of stuff where you travel around ship, and so you've got a bunch of people on your ship, and they sing songs. But
Right.
of course, these are Greek people,
Right.
so they sing Greek sea shanties.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And which, because Ubisoft is totally weird about this stuff,
Yes.
we're actually, so this was they actually, we don't have any Greek sea shanties.
Right.
We don't have any information about, and obviously we don't know what the songs like. It's not like
Because it's ancient Greek too.
yeah, and it's not like they have sheet music that we
Yeah.
could look at. But so basically what they did is they took they took a bunch of poems, like so real Greek poems that expressed things that might be things that you would sing about,
Right.
and then worked with researchers to figure out what kinds of music
Right.
that might have been used.
Because you would set them to like ancient scales, like to pentatonics and to Dorian
Yeah,
notes
yeah.
and stuff like that.
And
yeah.
so they basically invented a whole bunch of Greek sea
Yeah.
shanties for people to sing. It was just kind of awesome.
Well, I mean, in that time period, music would have been passed down orally. It wouldn't have been
Right, yeah,
necessarily
exactly.
a written down thing, especially if you weren't in a position to have paper.
Speaking of oral
Oh,
things,
Goodness, this is so weird.
Yeah, things you say with your mouth.
yeah, there's some more information. Well,
Well,
there's some information about the Super Mario animated movie that's coming out.
more like a defense.
It's not really any more information other
No,
than like
it's just that there was an interview with Illumination CEO and the film's co-producer Chris Meledandri, who and I feel like
wanted to reiterate that
well, I feel like
Miyamoto's his best friend.
He's getting kind of tired of having to answer this question. People are like, "Are you really sure that Chris Pratt was the guy for this?"
Yeah.
But we
And
saw
he-
that direct. Chris Pratt is a cool guy, according to that direct.
And so, he's like, okay, look, Chris was cast because we felt he could give a great performance as Mario. Now that we've done about 15 recording sessions and the movie is 3/4 done,
That's a thing we
Yeah.
didn't know. Yeah.
It's true. Okay.
I can sit here and tell you that I loved his performance as Mario. he said that considering that Chris Pratt had Italian American heritage, he could make that decision without worrying about offending Italians or Italian Americans. And I think we're going to be just fine, especially because Pratt has given such a strong performance.
The thing that I'd heard
So
was that, and this could be rumor, so
like,
please.
I feel like he probably spends a lot of time like there's lots of other people in the movie too.
Yeah, exactly.
They're great people.
Come on, we want to talk about Seth Rogen? Let's talk about Seth Rogen and Jack Black. You know, like, I think that, because like it's not like anyone's like, oh, he's going to give a terribly horrible performance, like but it's like what I'd heard was, initially the idea was to do it very Italian American, like from Brooklyn, that kind of idea,
Right.
Very Super Mario Brothers Super Show, right? Hey, paisanos, you know, like it's that kind of like Captain Lou Albino doing what he did, and instead it was like, oh no, don't do that. We don't want it like that, and that might have been more of like. I might actually be thinking of the Charles Martinet thing about how it's like when he came to Mario, he assumed it was going to be like that. And then ultimately was like, that's not what we want. And so it's like, oh, okay, I do a thing on spaghetti and meatballs, you know, like that kind of idea. And that's literally, again, the story that I'd heard was that when Charles did the audition, he kind of riffed on that for a while. And so, yeah, I don't know if this is the same thing where it's like, is Chris Pratt's voice going to be Brooklynite, hey, paisanos, or is it going to be...
This is part of the issue, right? Like, we heard that they were making a Mario movie. That was it for the longest time.
Right.
And then they announced in a direct, which seems like a weird place to announce the thing in the first place. They announced casting.
Yeah.
So then all we really learned about the movie at that point was roughly that it was supposed to come out at Christmas. It's been delayed since. That it had all of these people in it, and these people were playing these various voices. So it's just like, okay, so we know these characters are probably in the movie.
So then you're sort of imagining that person being that character.
And it's kind of just this weird... I mean, for one thing, it was just a weird thing to see in the middle of a direct where you're expecting to hear news about video games and not a movie.
Yeah. But
then also, we have a history of a lot of movies, especially early 90s movies, where they did stunt casting heavily. And so to hear nothing about the movie except for, like, who's going to be in it, especially when it's a lot of people whose names you know, it just feels like a stunt-casted movie. We still haven't seen a trailer. So, no we don't know what Chris Pratt's Mario sounds like.
We don't know what Jack Black's Bowser sounds like.
But yeah, we don't know what anyone sounds like. All we just keep hearing is, oh, no, I thought the performance was really good. And it's like, great. You want to show a trailer or something so that people have something to actually... The reason everyone's focused on Chris Pratt is because it's the only thing to focus on.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody else, people were like, yeah, I can kind of see that.
Yeah, I'll get behind some of that, sure.
Yeah. But then Chris Pratt, people were like, oh, well, what?
There's a reason why when it comes down to actors versus voice actors and people who... I'm going to take a position here. Maybe this will make people angry, not that. But it's why people who really enjoy animated movies, animated productions, why they like a dedicated voice actor over somebody who is an actor that gets to do a voice in a movie, right? It's fun when it's something like you're watching a movie or you're watching any sort of production and all of a sudden you recognize the voice of one character. You know, Patrick Stewart shows up and does a voice and you're like, holy shit, that kind of took me out of it a little bit because I know Patrick Stewart's voice, but it's also fun to see Patrick Stewart voice X, that kind of thing, right? But
a poop.
Right, exactly.
In the Emoji Movie.
Yeah. I mean, as an example. But also, when you have, like, Jay Baruchel has a very unique voice. We've talked about the Dragons movies before, right? Yeah. But you don't think of... oh, that's Jay Baruchel. Nobody thinks that when they go watch.
You do want somebody to sort of disappear into the
You want someone like Ben Schwartz as Sonic the Hedgehog has been really fun. Why? Because I don't have a clue who Ben Schwartz is. I had no idea of what he's done before that. And like that's what you should be looking for is if you're going to cast actors because you think that they're as good as a voice actor, you should be looking for actors who have a good voice and are relatively unknown. But when you cast somebody that has a really recognizable voice, Seth Rogen... That's, you know, it's like, unless he's going to change his voice and become a character, then you're just going to hear Seth Rogen. You're just going to hear Jack Black. You're just going to hear these people.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
No, but it does also mean that we see this all the time where it's like, how many big names can I sign up for this production so that when they're doing the thing, you recognize them? If we go back to like Shrek in 2001, what was charming about that movie was not that it had Mike Myers in the starring role, but it's that Mike Myers doing a voice. Even if it's like not, he can't do a ton of different voices, it was him doing a voice and making a character out of it.
I think Mike Myers would disagree with
Right?
you.
It's like
he can do lots of. He thinks he can do lots of voices.
I would imagine maybe he can. I've only ever heard him do the ones, like only a few, right? That kind of thing. But contrasted against Donkey, which is just Eddie Murphy just going wild. It's like there's two very different feels to those characters then, and
Sure.
Shrek's the one that you believe is like the real thing, and Donkey feels like he's been kind of injected into the movie.
Sure, but I also think you can just get a person. I don't think a person has to do a voice necessarily to voice act something and voice act it well.
Yeah.
If the voice that they have suits the animation.
And that's also
as well,
true too.
right?
Yeah,
The thing I really think is the biggest failing of what's going on right now is they're marketing a movie that we're not actually being marketed.
And then we're being told that we're wrong about something that they're like not willing to provide any proof
Yeah,
for
and
why
I mean,
we're wrong.
I can understand that feeling too of even being like, everyone keeps saying this bad thing about this thing, and I'm like, yes, but then why did you? You know, most of the time when you hear a movie is in production, the next time you hear about it is like a trailer comes out or something.
Yeah.
But you told us the entire cast of the movie, assumably, but what does that mean in an animated
Like,
movie?
it would have been a hell of a thing if the direct was simply like, we're making a Mario movie. We're doing with Illumination, the people who made Minions. Isn't that exciting? No, not really, but maybe, okay, whatever. There's their company. They make lots of different things. And a little teaser, Seth Rogen's playing Donkey Kong. Now, if you just done that, like if you just put that out for an example, people would be like, what the fuck? Like, what kind of movie are you making where it's a Mario movie but it has Donkey Kong in it? But Seth Rogen's playing Donkey Kong? People be like, does anyone know what the casting is for this? And if they kept it like under wraps, be like, well, what's it gonna turn into? And then, you know, you come out and you have 12 different people who are very well known, and you're like, oh.
I think you would find that if somebody pointed out that who the casting for Donkey Kong was in a Mario movie, they would actually say, new Donkey Kong game confirmed.
Probably, yeah, that's true too.
Because you believe I've seen a few people speculate the idea that not only did they move this movie back, that they moved it back because there will be a Mario game tied into the movie, and I really don't see that happening.
Yeah.
I think there'll be a new Mario game.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're trying to do that.
Just Super
that
Mario the
tie-in
movie?
thing.
Why?
Very like Street Fighter the movie.
I was gonna say, why do I want there to be a Mario game that's like a 2D Mario game, but with like the rendered sprites thing, like, you know, what they used to do with like whatever the movie, the game,
Yeah.
where they would replace they instead of using the actual like nice pixel art, they would use like poorly rendered like captures from the actual game.
Yeah, yeah.
Or from the movie.
Also, if they had come out and said Charles Martinet was doing the voice of Mario in the Mario movie,
Yeah.
I don't know that we would be having most of any discussion about the Mario movie at all.
No.
It's true.
It
It didn't
I would
have
agree.
to be Chris Pratt, but like if anybody else had been like, oh, this person's playing Mario.
Because all the
Because
people
we're
who
very used to.
Yeah, all the people who know Mario as being that voice. And to have that voice be a hell of a thing, right? For him to kind of
I think,
headline this movie.
as people have pointed out,
Yeah.
Mario, you know, basically just goes like, whoo, yeah, whatever, makes little noises and stuff. That for an entire movie could be a little much.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't
He
expect
can talk.
expect him to. I do. I've heard some people suggest that maybe what they'll do is they'll have like one of those lines kind of happen, and then a thing will happen to change his voice, and I'm like,
Or he'll be like,
I hope not. I hope they
Yeah.
just go straight with it and not worry about that kind of thing.
you know,
Just people coming into the movie, sitting down, that hits within the first 3 minutes, and people just like, nope, get up and leave. Get
I'm
their
out.
money back.
my favorite comment on this story, by the way, on Nintendo Life, is the top comment is, unpopular opinion, Chris Pratt made an awesome Buzz Lightyear. And then people would be like, That was Chris Evans.
Yeah.
People confusing Chris's. It's just gonna happen. I'm sorry.
What we got next?
Tony Hawk says that the remasters of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 are not happening.
Okay.
Okay.
Why is Tony Hawk telling us about the remaster of his game and not the company?
I guess people ask them about it.
They're
They're like, Tony Hawk, of Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Yeah,
After they have that conversation with him where they're like, hey, you kind of look like Tony Hawk. Hey, do you think they're remastering the Tony Hawk 3 and 4
Kind of look like the
game?
guy who makes a video game.
He was on a Twitch stream hosted by the former senior designer at Vicarious Visions, who did the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Okay.
So basically, the whole thing is, so Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 got a remaster, re-release a couple years ago. That were quite well received.
Good. Okay.
And people were excited about Tony Hawk 3 and 4 being also remastered, and apparently they were planned, like they were in the works. Then Vicarious Visions got sucked into Activision.
Right.
Oh, you gotta watch out for those.
Yeah, I got too close to Activision and got sucked in. And basically they got
Torn to shreds.
yeah, and it kind of they got like
We're gonna move you guys here, move you guys here, move you guys there. Yeah.
And then they were apparently Activision was looking apparently like Activision basically sucked up Vicarious Visions and then sort of disbanded them. And then we're like, let's look around for where could we find a developer to develop Tony Hawk 3 and 4? If only there was some way we could find a developer. So apparently they were looking around for a developer to do Tony Hawk
3 and 4 remaster.
And they couldn't
Like you couldn't find anyone.
didn't really trust anyone to do it properly. They took pitches from other studios but didn't like anything they heard, and they decided to not do it.
Okay.
All right.
Well.
So basically, kind of sad that 3 and 4 which are very well regarded version ones, but
I mean, that just means that it's not getting remade now. Wait another
Right.
10 years.
I mean,
Who
when they get bought
knows?
out by
Yeah.
Microsoft, once the Microsoft thing, who knows?
Enjoy the first two, I guess. That's what you got.
Yeah.
Well, if we ever get that game, we've got the perfect console for you to play it on.
Oh no.
An Xbox Series X, the size of a fridge, which you might be remembering. You could previously get a fridge
Yeah, the little like
The size of an.
tabletop.
or
fridges, right?
like a bar fridge that
Oh.
looked like an Xbox.
Oh, but it was bigger, right?
Yeah, it was a bar fridge.
It was like a bar
Sorry,
fridge.
just a nice thing.
This Michael Pick, who's a YouTuber, who apparently also made a large Nintendo Switch, has made a functional Xbox Series X that is actually the size of like a full-size refrigerator.
Right.
Now,
but it also
did-
looks like an Xbox Series X, but
Yes.
it's the size of. Yeah.
So it's a
Now-
giant. It is a 6.82 foot tall, 3.41 foot wide,
Oh my god.
250 pound Xbox Series X.
So I have a very important question. Did he just make a fridge look like this and then open it up and put an Xbox Series X inside?
Because I can do that
So-
too. Yes.
Well, so this is it's not it's not actually a fridge. It's a fridge-sized thing.
Yeah, but did he just
So
put?
yeah,
'cause
basically,
clearly
so-
you don't need all
so
that
there's
space to make it work.
Yeah, so there's an Xbox Series X like inside it.
yes.
And there's like a sophisticated control system there's like the proper buttons and things are on the outside of this giant thing.
Right.
And when you push one of those buttons, it activates a thing that then like a little thing pushes the button.
Right. Okay. That's good. It's mechanical activation. Yeah. God, that's 6'8". That's
It's
like.
just like I can understand a giant Switch. Some people think the screen is too small, but the
Yeah, there's like
the
a
Xbox
little.
doesn't have a screen.
It's 2 meters tall, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus. That's a big fridge. Like.
Yeah, that is a large fridge.
Whew. all right.
Apparently, it is. They donated it to the YMCA Youth and Teen Development Center in Atlanta, Georgia.
Nice.
Which I feel like that's cool, but possibly more of a liability than a advantage.
Maybe they'll auction it off.
Like the kids are probably like, could we just have a regular Xbox, maybe?
And also a fridge.
So much harder to steal if
Yeah.
it's giant.
It's true.
It's true.
That's true.
Yeah. That was a problem we had at the library, is people trying to steal all the gaming consoles we had.
There you go then.
Yeah, so I understand making it the size of a fridge.
Yeah, you should make it oversized and too heavy, and no one can take it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole video about the process of building and stuff.
I love the idea of it takes laser discs for sale, as Bytecaster says. I'm like, I love the idea of making one that can take a disc, but instead it's like we have a built-in laser disc player, so you can like load it up and it'll actually play back laser discs.
I mean, I assume it's digital only.
Yeah, probably digital only at this point.
But so much space for expanding your drive space.
And keeping
Exactly.
apples and stuff
Exactly.
inside. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And cooling down the system if it gets too hot.
Yeah.
Speaking of discs, here we go. Chicory, A Colorful Tale, which, from what I understand, very, very
It's a good game.
well-received game
You played the whole thing on your stream.
I did.
with some really great music.
I also definitely did not color anything in the way that the game wanted you to.
I mean, that's the whole point of coloring, is to do it in a fun way.
I wouldn't call it a fun way. Like at the end of the game, it'll show you like during the credits the stuff that you colored in and what you didn't. And if I had known that, I might have taken a little bit more time to make it a little prettier.
Anyway, it has also an amazing soundtrack. And now you can get that soundtrack on LPs, because they're doing a 4 LP physical release of it. But what's even awesomer is check out these LPs.
Oh, nice.
They did the nice thing.
Beautiful.
So not only the art is sort of continuous through the thing, and then also as the songs for later parts of the game, the LP gets more colorful.
Mm-hmm.
It's super, super cool looking. So this is how you do cool soundtracks, done by Canadian artist and illustrator Matt Cummings.
Nice.
So super, super cool. If you're into Chicory, then you could get that special edition stuff. And if you're into Knights of the Old Republic,
Two.
tough. Because
There's no LPs for that.
yeah, and if you've got it for Switch, you can't. It's
Just stop playing right
stop
now.
It came out on June 8th for Switch. Apparently, it is unbeatable. It's not hard.
No.
Well, I don't know how hard it is.
There's a bug in it.
But there's a
that's
bug
preventing
that
it.
makes it so that it is actually impossible to finish the game. There's a crash in it, which is apparently a known issue,
Yeah.
and they can't give a date for a fix. How?
Well,
like,
okay, there's an update at the bottom of this article saying that the studio acknowledges it, but they say it affects a small amount of users, and apparently they published a cheat code to pass it.
Right, but it's like that. That there a lot of respect goes out to QA testers, but you would think that for one, it's not just that it's that something glitches in the game or the game crashes or whatever.
Right.
You actually can't win.
Yeah. Like,
And-
you should be able to play the game from beginning to end and then know that it's like, we can release this now.
And two, that it says it is a known it is a known issue.
We knew this was going to be a problem, so we didn't say anything about it when we released the game because we wanted you to buy it first.
And yeah, the fix is cheat past it.
Yep.
So, yeah, remember the Nintendo seal of quality?
Yeah, people always make a big deal about that, and yet the games you could always finish. Just throwing that out there.
My favorite thing about there's a great story. This is unrelated to this, but about the approval process is that I follow a YouTuber who has done a lot of development for Sega Genesis and Saturn and old school development stuff, and he has all sorts of neat things about the weird things that they had to do back in the day to make stuff work.
Right.
But he's talking about that there was a video going around of this of a glitch in Sonic. I think it was one of the 3D Sonic game.
Okay.
Sonic 3D Blast or something.
Okay.
That or seemed to be a glitch, which was you banged the top of the console, and you went into you went into a level select screen.
Like it was made that way.
Yeah. You banged the top of the console and it went into a level select screen, and people were like, how could that be a cheat code?
Yeah.
Bang the top of the console and go into level select screen.
Yeah.
And he's saying basically what they would do is what he did is they had in the code of the console they had traps for errors. Mm-hmm. And basically there's it would put out error codes and stuff. And then there was a generic trap for if nothing, if an error wasn't handled in another way to do something. And what they've realized is that if a game crashes, then it fails certification.
Okay.
And certification process.
Don't let it crash.
And the certification process takes weeks.
Right.
And your game is on a deadline for release. And so if you fail certification, that sets that destroys everything.
Yeah.
And so the idea was that you do not fail your certification thing. And one of the things for certification was it had to be running for days at a time without crashing.
Okay.
And so basically what this did is if it crashed for any reason other than the reasons that were known, it would go to a level select screen instead of actually crashing.
Ah.
Huh.
Wow.
And so that made it so it could pass certification.
Yeah.
Because it would be just I guess they triggered a level select thing.
Neat idea.
I mean, in terms of the KOTOR 2 thing, though, I wouldn't throw the QA totally under the bus.
Oh no, certainly not.
Because even if it hadn't been found, not their fault. But even if it had been found and they have certain things to do, they often do put some bugs lower on the list of things to fix, or consider it not any kind of priority when they have deadlines to make.
It's just weird when it's like this is a showstopper bug that isn't. It isn't like where Skyward Sword had a bug or something, and Twilight Princess had a bug in it or something, where it was if you do these things in the game, you'll end up in this state, and then if you try to do this other thing, it'll actually corrupt your save file, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
This is more like it sounds like everybody who plays KOTOR 2, when you get to this point in the game will just crash, and I'm like, that's a showstopper. That's it got brought up in the chat where it's a lot of these things are just taken care of through automated testing because you can't have a QA test everything. It's sure, but I would assume that a game that's has anybody played it through all the way at least once from one end to the other just to ensure that there is a way to actually get through to finish the end of the game. Does anyone have time to do that when you're trying to do dev?
It depends on the game. I mean, a lot of games are really long or involve a lot of things. A lot of QA, from my understanding, is repetitively doing a task over and over.
Yeah, and if you get
not going from the beginning to the end.
So
you get dropped in and you're like, I guess I beat the boss, so it works. It's sure, but you didn't get from point A to point B of getting through this cutscene to getting to the boss.
And I 100% guarantee you that there is a bug report somewhere that is like exactly this problem,
Yep.
and it's marked as like not fixed or like acceptable or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like
Yeah.
will not fix for release.
Yeah, we'll fix later.
And that's the last story I had to mark.
Good, because we are low on time.
So, thanks everybody for joining me and joining also Heather and also Bish.
Yes.
Joining all three of us.
You were
For
thanking us for
ChillPoint.
being here, I think,
Yes.
as well. Yes.
Paul, I'm very glad you're here because I don't know how to do this setup at all.
Thanks everybody for joining us, and let's see what's coming up. Because what's coming up is Friday Night Paper Fight, where we're going to be playing some Magic, possibly not Pauper.
Oh, okay.
But
it was supposed to be floor paper.
It was supposed to be Pauper. We might end up doing something different, but it'll be Magic, whatever it is.
All right, somebody tell me what it is later so I can
We will
I can make
endeavor
sure
to do
it's
that.
actually labeled properly.
And then tonight, Beej will be playing more Metroid Other M.
So I beat it last night.
And you want to go back?
So you're going to keep playing. You that means you're allowed to stop.
I know,
That's
right?
what the credits mean.
Yeah, no, it doesn't actually, because when you finish the credits, there's literally a cutscene after the credits that said the bottle ship is the place where this all takes place. The bottle ship is due for destruction in the next few days, but there's something behind that I need to pick up because it's important to somebody. And she flies her ship back to the ship, and then you get off the ship, or you get off of your ship inside the ship because it's ships upon ships, and then it says you can now use power bombs. I have so many complaints
that you can
that I'm not going to go into
later.
that we've already talked about on,
Yeah.
on the stream. But it's like, hey, here is now you've been
didn't
dropped
have-
back on
you
the
didn't
ship.
have power bombs until now.
And so anyway, it's all after the credits. It's like go back and now get the rest of the things that you want to pick up in the game, and also do whatever this last little thing is to do as an epilogue. And so I'm like, we're giving it tonight to try to, because all the power-ups that I'm missing are marked on the map, and there's a few other things that I wanted to do because like using power bombs to open doors. But then after that, there's apparently a secret boss. I don't know if we'll do that. So I'm playing like tonight, and maybe I'll play on Saturday. I don't know if I'm going to play on Saturday or not, but I know tonight we're going to do at least one more
It's-
stream.
I mean, that stuff always bugs me. That form of post game content, because it's like now you can get all the power ups.
Yeah.
And you're like, but I've beaten the boss.
Yeah, why do I need
Clearly,
them?
I don't need the power ups. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
But
Also,
anyway.
I heard the secret boss is also complete bullshit, and there's no point in playing them. So I'm like, I might not even do that either.
I think just now that you've gotten through the story and don't have to necessarily do any cutscenes again,
Yeah.
or hear some of the weird things, and you can have all your abilities, it might be fun to have
Yeah.
a nice chill stream
Just
where you just go around,
Enjoy
run
playing
around a
Metroid
ship,
on its own terms.
play some of the gameplay.
And I gotta be honest,
Find
there's
things.
like 80% of the gameplay in this game is real good, and there's 20% that isn't. But the story is like not great at all. So I'd rather just
Wouldn't like
Play
I feel
Metroid.
it sounds like it would be great if there was like a new game plus mode where you just like start the game, with all your abilities.
Yeah.
And you could just like play it normally
Kind
and
of.
not have like a bunch of people telling you when you can
skip
use
button.
abilities.
I feel like if they gave you that when you first played the game, where it's like, do you want to play this game with the story, or do you just want to play the part of the game you'll actually enjoy? And I'm like, if you gave me that option, I've been like, just let me play the.
Good. Did you want to play the whole game or the good bits?
Yeah, I just want to play the good
Yeah.
bits of the game. That's all.
So
Then on Saturday is Loading Ready Live,
Yes.
where something's going to happen.
that is our motto for
That
this
is
show.
that is the only thing that we proclaim.
That's the only thing we promise. I mean, one day we're gonna just not have time for anything for some reason, and it really is just going to be 20 minutes of us sitting in front of the camera, not
Whatever
doing
we could
anything.
come up with.
That counts as something.
It sure
Yeah.
does.
But then there may or may not be more Metroid Other M, depending on how fed up Beej is.
Yep, it's true.
And then Groove
Coaster YY party.
Coaster YY Part.
Yep, that's misspelled.
Yay!
It's a party. You can tell it's a party because
It's
of
part
all
of-
the exclamation marks.
Part of the party.
We've played this before. We're playing it some more. The end.
Yay. And then on Monday, Can't Draw Horses Club. Corey and friends are going to be doing something. I don't know what they're going to be drawing or crafting or creating or what.
It could be anything.
Yeah. The Can't Draw Horses Club has massively expanded from just drawing.
Well,
They do all sorts of different artistic
sometimes
endeavors.
not drawing horses means not drawing.
That's true.
They did a Blender stream one time, which I was like, that's rad.
Oh, yes, the 3D thing.
Yes.
Not just like, the art today is going to be putting things in a blender.
I've
and
got this plant.
blend-
I mean,
I mean, Will It Blend was an artistic endeavor.
if Corey ever does a Blender episode like that, I kind of want to be on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then Monday night,
Oh, I
it's
forgot
the
about
return of
Glurp.
Glurp.
Yeah. On sale right now, if you have a Switch, it's like $2.50. There's no reason not to buy a copy.
He's just very excited about this.
Yeah,
'cause
I
he's
like
bought
Glurp.
it. There's
Yeah.
a lot of game sales going on right now that all have kind of like
Yeah, it's
Popped off.
it's Steam sale, Steam summer sale
yeah.
right now.
And Nintendo's got like a big thing going on with a bunch of stuff on sale, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I should really have a look through it.
all of my notifications have been going off.
Yeah, that thing where I get the thing from Steam where it's like 25 games on your wish list are on sale, and I'm like, oh, I don't want all these games. Well, I do want all these games, but I don't want to buy them all now.
Right. They're just gonna sit there,
Yep.
won't
yep,
they?
yep.
Yes.
That's how
Don't worry.
that's how Steam wish lists work. You say like,
I
oh, I
mean-
want this game, but I'll only buy it when it gets below a certain price.
Especially on Steam. If it goes on sale, at one point it'll probably go on sale.
That would
again.
be so insidious if Steam just added a thing where it's like, look, we know you want to wait for sales to buy games. We know you don't want to wait on that or risk missing it. So here's what we're going to do is we're going to give us your credit card. You already did. You can set auto buy for a game when it's below a certain threshold, and we'll just buy the game for you automatically when it hits a certain
No.
threshold.
Nope.
See,
nope,
I
nope,
wait.
nope,
I
nope.
my thing is, I put it on my wish list. I'm like, this looks like a cool game, but I don't know if it's like a $50 game. You know, I'm not $50 excited about this game.
No.
And then it'll go on sale, and it's like it's not $25, and I'm like,
Am I still 25?
am I $25? It'll be like $10. I'll be like, it's like I'll do it when pigs fly.
Yeah,
And then,
exactly.
Sir, are you gonna do it now? No, I'd still rather not.
Yeah, I said pigs, and that's only a pig.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
If
like
you,
it turns out I was actually just delaying not buying this.
Yeah.
If you want a good site for console stuff, Deku Deals is really good.
Oh right. Yeah, of course.
DekuDeals.com is
I mean, it's
really good for
specifically
that.
Switch stuff, isn't it?
They I know for a fact that they got PlayStation on there now. I think they might have Xbox, but I don't follow that because you can turn them off. But you can make a wish list with things that are like if it goes below a certain point, which is really neat.
Oh, nice.
And it's when we go to .com, it shows us the Canadian prices.
Yeah, which is
Ooh.
awesome.
That's good.
And plus, you can then convert something on your wish list to be like, okay, I bought that. Now just say it's in my collection.
So don't bug me about
So
it.
I don't want to know about it anymore.
We're not sponsored by this website at all, but
And then it
I
can
really
use it
like
to make
them.
recommendations of other games you might like that are similar to that.
Yeah, Is There Any Deal is also a great
Yeah,
website
this
for
is
that
actually
kind of
how
stuff.
I watch DLC sales and stuff.
But I also, the combination of like Xbox Game Pass and like
Epic Game Store sales.
and like Epic free games and Twitch free games
yeah.
makes it hard to rationalize buying. It's like I could buy this game, which sounds really good, or there's like 50 other games that also sound good that I could play.
Yeah.
But yeah, Crossing the Streams Glurp Monday.
Yeah,
That's
we're gonna
been-
get lots
This
of.
is like our third.
Yeah.
We're getting really into this.
I know
game.
James was saying this was like a last minute, like, addition to CTS. We were like, we need something to play, and I think Ben Ulmer suggested it as like he's like we can do this game, or Corey maybe.
Corey maybe.
I had been wanting to play this for a while, and I know that Corey was suggesting it too.
And so and we just like the day before we were just like sure let's play that, and then people really dug it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do it in Studio C, bring as many people as we can in,
Yeah.
and do the whole thing.
I really want us to like keep playing, but also make sure we space it out enough that we don't
Yeah, exactly.
get tired of it at
Yeah.
some point. Because I really do like.
Glurp is a sometimes
game.
food.
Sure is.
It's a sometimes drink. Is it a drink? Is it a food?
Substance of some sort.
I guess you drink more glurp.
Depends on the
technically
advertiser, I think.
Yeah.
It's a sometimes whatever it is. It's a sometimes of that
But
thing.
you know what's not a sometimes thing?
No. What is a thing that we want to do all the time is thank the awesome people who subscribe to the stream, like Saber Pilot for 29 months.
Lawrence72 for 60 months.
Jesse Improved for 33 months.
Boots Malone for 64 months.
Canvas Wolf Doll for 49 months.
Ooh, and Richard Ehrman for 51 months.
My Junior 17 for 3 months.
Oh, sorry. JPost042 for 75 months.
And Sogheim for 31 months. Oh, we should point out Derokin hitting that century there. Congratulations on your
nice.
century.
A century of months.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks all you awesome people for subscribing, helping us out on the Patreon, on the
we got that
YouTube.
store.loadingreadyrun.com,
Yep.
YouTube memberships.
All that
if you
good
don't,
stuff.
If you don't want to do YouTube memberships, the Lure channel, the Lure MTG channel have super thanks turned on. If you want to do that, there's so many different ways you can give us money if that is a thing you wish to do.
And all right, we'll be back in about an hour with some sort of magic-y type content.
Bye.
Bye.